Guys, we're back with another morning of some live drawing. Just gotta get my stuff situated here. I am finishing up a Dark Phoenix sketch card cover. And let's see. Live now. Looks like that's weird. Now. Looks like that's weird. For some reason, one of my cameras doesn't seem to be working. Which is strange because it looks fine on Twitch, but I'm not seeing it on my dashboard page. I'm just going to refresh that. There we go. And this morning I figured out a way to view my Instagram stream and my chat there, which I'd had some difficulty in the past. So, this is I'll give you a little preview. This is a sketch card. My commission list is open right now. You can commission work through my Etsy page. I have an Etsy store. There's a link there on the bottom right that pops up periodically. So, if you're interested in commissioning some comic art, now is the time. I'm taking, I guess, about 2 months off from working on my comic book miniseries. It's called Secret Powers, and it is a sequel to Saga of a Doomed Universe. I have the first 2 issues completed, and I will be getting started on the 3rd and final issue in January. Pretty excited about that, but I wanted to take a little bit of a break from it. I feel like it's important to step back from big projects like that once in a while and kind of recharge. And then when I come back to it, I usually have a fresh perspective on the book, and that helps. This piece I started working on during my Whatnot show last Monday. I am doing Whatnot shows every Monday at 7. I'm auctioning original comic art. It's just works from my time at Marvel and Image Comics and Dark Horse and other publishers, as well as my own publishing label, Beyond Forward Comics. I'm also auctioning commission sketches, so if you're wanting to get something through Whatnot, that is an option as well. possibly color this digitally. I haven't really decided yet. So these sketch card covers are different. They're pretty unique. They're custom made. They are not the comic. It is literally just the cover, and I create the logos and the cover treatment. It's printed on 2-ply Bristol board, so it's got the same quality paper that you would find from the sketch card comics, basically blank comics. And the great thing about these, they are custom made, so I can literally create any cover logo within reason. If it exists, I can either find it online and print it on the board or create a new one. This one is a new one I created for Dark Phoenix, which I really like because I like the style of I've got the little Phoenix wings there, and it just seems to fit her costume design pretty nicely. Thanks, Matt. Enjoy your walk. And these sketch cards have been pretty popular at the conventions. I've done a few this year, and it's really generated a lot of sales, a lot of interest. And so I figured, well, I'm going to lean into that a little bit and do more of these. You can find me on Whatnot if you just go to Whatnot, of course, and then search Beyond Forward Art, and you will find my shop. You can bookmark my shows if you'd like to see what I'm working on. I haven't added a link yet to my live stream. I need to do that. Pretty new to Whatnot. Still kind of figuring it out. Alright. There she is. I just need to give this a moment to dry. I don't know if you can see, but I have I've got my spinner rack Christmas tree back here. Doesn't get much nerdier than that. So I'll show you guys a little preview of these sketch cards that I've been talking about. I just have a stack here to show you just an example. I have a Shazam. I've got a Batgirl. I just finished this is an actual blank comic, Dark Knight 3. I did a little homage to Dark Knight Returns. And there's the backside that I'm still working on. I may work on that this morning, depending on how quickly I can get this Dark Phoenix completed. There's a Supergirl, and Batman with my favorite Batman logo. Crisis on Infinite Earths I thought would be a fun one. I may do something with that soon. Fantastic Four. These are two sketch card comics that I created. So the interior is issue 1. It's the reprint from the 70s Marvel comic, and I created a sketch card wraparound cover for that. Same for this Fantastic Four. Micronauts. That's a book I actually worked on at Marvel when they were rebooting the Microverse in a kind of a limited way, but it was a reboot. Star Trek, Boba Fett. So anyway, just give you an example of what's possible. And I just sold two original pages from The Overman, which was a book I wrote at Image Comics back in 2007, 2008. And I have several of those pages listed on my eBay store. Pretty good prices for those. Alright, I think this is pretty dry. So I'm going to just go back in, gently erase the pencil lines. If you're jumping in here and you're new to my live stream, I do these every day, well, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And they are multi-streamed from Twitch to YouTube and Instagram. I would probably get a little more activity if I did them in the evening, but this is really the best time for me to devote an hour or two. My day is typically pretty full with other work. I don't know about that, Matt. I wish, right? That would be alright. So it just kind of works out for me to do the morning live streams. Alright, so now I'm just going to just what I call tighten up the inks a little bit. You know, on these sketch cards you can't really get as much detail as you would on a regular sized comic board, but there is a lot you can do. I try to compensate for that. I think that's what a lot of people do. I think that to be honest, I don't follow streamers. I just, I look at things occasionally. Mainly, it's really comic book artists that I'm interested in watching them work. There's always things to learn. It's pretty valuable. But I know that a lot of viewers tend to, they're working or they're doing other things. I'm really into the podcast. That's kind of my background noise when I'm working. David Spade and Dana Carvey have um, they have a podcast called Fly on the Wall. I think they might have renamed it actually. That's one that I listen to quite a bit. They pontificate on their time at SNL, and they're just hilarious. Just as funny as you would imagine. It's just a really thoroughly entertaining podcast. There's another one called Stuff They Don't Want You to Know, which is sort of this conspiracy buff podcast, but not crazy, right? They really just discuss paranormal cases and weird news, like weird news. They break it down and talk about what really happened. They're pretty entertaining also. They've been around for a long time. I think they're in Georgia. That's where they're based out of, is Atlanta. They did a show. I listened to a show yesterday about reclusive tribes, like tribes that are completely off the grid. Like how many are there left that are truly off the grid, and there are not very many, as it turns out. Even the ones that are have had some kind of contact with the outside world. Though limited. Anyway, it's a pretty entertaining podcast. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It just has that kind of. I mean, I don't know how much of that is of his persona, his celebrity persona, and how much of that's him. Like Jerry Seinfeld seems like an ass. Like he would probably be somebody that would just be annoying, like he would just say shit that would be crass, or just condescending. I don't know. Maybe not, but I kind of get that from him. Like he did that Driving with Celebrities or whatever that show was called, and that was, you could get a little more insight into his personality from that show. But he's still funny. Ugh, I didn't know that. What? Yeah, okay. Did not know that. And that's true, or is that just like some weird internet rumor? Huh. Okay. trying to think of another podcast. There's the Retroist, I think it's called, and he just kind of reminisces about days gone by, like pop culture of the 80s and VCRs and old video games or films. Those are pretty entertaining also. I'm always on the lookout for a new one though. Yeah, Retroist is pretty good. I haven't seen any episodes lately that really interested me, so I haven't listened to it in a while. Y-Files, what's that one about? Oh, okay. That's my jam. I'll have to look that one up. Another really good, if you're in, I don't know if you're into like, if you're into paranormal stuff, but there's a really good one called Strange Arrivals. And this guy he's more of a skeptic, and he doesn't outright debunk claims and stories, but he does present it with as a kind of a devil's advocate, and he does explore other very unique explanations for things. And those are really, really good. I am more skeptically aligned, but I'm also very intrigued by all of that stuff. I'm the I want to believe category. But yeah, you should check out Strange Arrivals. It's really very thought-provoking and just a very well-made podcast. I was trying to find some comic book podcasts, but I really haven't. I mean, who is it? There's one guy that has one. Oh, I forget his name. He's been around forever. He's got a podcast where he just interviews creators. It's pretty decent. Yeah, same. Personally, I've never seen what I would call an absolutely unexplainable UFO. I think everybody has seen things in the sky that they don't understand what they're looking at, and I have seen things that I thought, well, that's really, what is that? But it wasn't anything so remarkable that it couldn't have been a plane or something just unfamiliar. I did see a triangle shape in Tampa several years back at night, but again, what did I really see there? I think, we've got the Air Force Base right next door practically. So it's very possible I just misidentified something. Some military thing. Yeah, like some kind of stealth. It was just what struck me as weird is it was in a very populated area and it was kind of low, and that's why I really was taken aback. Like, what in the world is this thing flying so low? If it's military, and there were other people on the road, and nobody else seemed to, nobody was stopping their cars to get out and look at it. So I just ultimately decided that it probably was just maybe it was just a military plane, and I was looking at it from a weird angle. I think people tend to jump to conclusions because they want it to be certain, they want to see something, and I think there's a certain amount of that happens. Yeah, right. I really should. People have been telling me it's not a good combination. But I don't listen to them because I'm distracted by their face melting. So I will be selling this Dark Phoenix. I'm listing it over on my eBay store soon. I have a link there on the bottom left that pops up for my eBay store. I have close to 300 pieces of original art and art prints. I have some signed comics, and I try to get something new up there daily. Try to get this one up, probably just get it scheduled. Not sure what day it will actually list. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, I think this one is finished. Alright. Just gotta sign it. Find my pencil. So I am selling off my. I have some original pages from um, the Rick Olney fiasco, I guess you would call it. I inked several pages for one of those books years ago. Of course, this was back in what, 2008 or something. And I keep everything. I keep all of my art, as you can see if you go to my eBay store. And I have, I think, 7 pages of art that I inked for one of these comics, and I do not know who the penciler is. Like, it's not signed. I have no idea of, no way to really research it. I don't think there's any way to find out. So I am just selling them as penciler unknown. And it's a 7-page lot. It's pretty good. I don't know who the penciler was, but it's kind of this cartoony style. It's not superhero stuff. And I wish I knew who it was, because I would give them credit for that. Or give them the pages, or some of the pages. Give them half the pages. But I just have no idea. Yeah, I heard about that. Alright, I think Dark Phoenix is done. Set that aside, and I've got that Batman that I'm going to finish up. That I was working on a while back. This is the scene from Dark Knight Returns when Batman is shot in the chest as he's walking this tightrope across 2 skyscrapers. Two-Face is in the helicopter, and he shoots him, and the shotgun blast reveals his armor-plated emblem below the emblem, which no big deal now, right? But at the time, that was like really pretty cool. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense that he would be armored. He would have armor there. You specifically wished ass cancer on him. Is that right? Is that what you're telling me? God. Well, there is karma. I do believe in karma. Um, I think you get what you put out in the universe. I do believe that that stuff comes back around on you in some way. So it's just always a good policy to treat people fairly and decently. This one was a little difficult because I had, at the time, my cameras were not really positioned right, and I couldn't get a good, comfortable position to draw it. I don't make excuses for my art, but probably would have handled this one a little bit differently if I had been able to view it correctly. And I was just sort of like leaning forward too much. It was just not a great setup. I feel like I finally have gotten a pretty good setup for my live stream. It took me a while. I'm sure I'll continue to make improvements. Yeah, I suppose so. All right, I'm gonna let that dry for a minute. Speaking of which, so from my book collection over here, this book, talking about paranormal things, this was a Reader's Digest edition of, it was called The World's Last Mysteries, and of course they made a lot of these kinds of books. This one was from my grandparents. It was, I think, a Christmas present when I was probably, I don't know, like maybe 12, 13. I was really fascinated by this stuff. And this is all a lot of like ancient history mysteries, like Easter Island. But it just all had kind of a real spooky, in search of kind of vibe to it. Search for El Dorado, Land of Gold. I mean, it was really cool. There's the Easter Island stuff. I read this thing from cover to cover, but the most interesting thing about it is towards the back. I think it's towards the back. Oh yeah, so the Nazca lines. Nazca, the strange designs on the ground that you can only view from very high up in the air. And then there's a black hole. Did a black hole hit Siberia? That was really kind of blew me away. And I love this this visual. You know, like you can't get more inaccurate and dramatic than that. But that captivated me. And there's a story about then the last one is a story about visitors from outer space, and I love this photo. It just something about it was just really impactful. Just the way the red and the yellow was very weird. And that was it. That was like they just kind of did this little piece on that. Yeah. Anyway, thought I'd share that with you guys as I'm waiting for the ink to dry. That is a treasured book, though. Alright, I think might be ready. What else can I show you guys? Oh, this is a really good one. I bought this one, I think, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and it is the Marvel Art of Savage Sword of Conan. And it features this amazing wrap-around cover by Joe Norum. I think his name was Joe Norum. Earl Norum. Earl Norum. Alright, I think this ink is ready to be... I think we're done. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. I should split up my live stream into, like, Book Corner with Scott Reed. And I'll just pontificate on some obscure book for a few minutes. But if I did that, I would need to have like a smoking jacket and a fireplace behind me, and a very like a mahogany leather chair to sit on, and a pipe. I am going to wrap up the live stream here in a few minutes. So when you erase the ink, sometimes it lifts up the ink in the larger areas. So I tend to go back with another layer just to darken that black. And that's what I'm doing right now. Get a lot of spam calls. Somebody's calling me. I put my number on one of those no call lists, but it didn't seem to make a whole lot of difference. Nice, 10,000. That's great. That's about what I average, give or take. I guess that's, I guess 10,000 is what you're supposed to do daily. I forget if that's the recommended number of steps. I didn't really care about those things when I was younger, but I'm definitely more health conscious these days. We got about 3 minutes until I sign out for the day. Thank you, everybody who stopped in. I appreciate your support. If you're on Instagram, I can now see your chats. I can see you. I had a hard time figuring out how to do that, and because I'm multi-streaming, but fortunately, I can now view the live stream through Instagram as well. Anyway, thanks again. I hope you will subscribe somewhere. You can either subscribe through my Twitch channel. I have YouTube and Instagram. You can find me on eBay if you're interested in purchasing some original art. My shop is Beyond Forward Art, and you can also find me on Etsy, Beyond Forward Art, if you want to commission original art. And I am starting my Whatnot shows as well. This Monday will be my third Whatnot show, so maybe I'll see you guys there too. Just want to add a few more little details. Alright guys, I think that's it for me. I will see you hopefully here tomorrow. I do the live streams Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, have a awesome day. And I will see you soon.